So the new Chevy Bolt isn't even out yet, and I think I just found probably the worst thing about it. If you are new here, this is Range Anxiety, where we talk about electric cars. If that is your vibe, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss another video like this. So, as somebody that previously owned a Chevy EV, yes, the first generation Volt does count as an EV, I am a little bit disappointed in the new Bolt. So, what we know about the new Bolt is very little. All we know is 3 teaser images that Chevy has, recently put out, and we can probably see that it's going to be around, 2027 model year. And it's going to have a native NACS, which is great and awesome to see. And it's going to have some updated styling in the rear and sort of evolutionary styling in the front. Essentially, think about the Chevy Equinox EV and just sort of a, squished down, slimmer version of that, which can kind of be a good thing and a bad thing. I think the Chevy Equinox EV is probably one of the best looking EV SUVs that's out there, at least in my opinion. And the Bolt seems to be taking a lot of styling cues from that, while also kind of carrying over some of their styling cues from the previous generation. It was definitely a previous generation. I was going to say second generation, but it's really just the first generation just had a heavy facelift. Anyways, the new Bolt is going to be a lot more mature looking. So that's kind of a great thing, because the previous generation was just kind of, as somebody that was potentially cross-shopping between a Chevy Bolt and other EVs before I settled on mine, I can say that the Chevy Bolt, just the original generation, even after the refresh, really didn't do it for me. I really didn't like the sort of split taillight design where the taillights were in one section, the brake lights were in another, and then you also had your turn signals down below. I think your reverse lights were down below as well. So it just overall wasn't a good look, at least in my opinion. And I'm glad to see that the new Bolt is potentially going to be doing away with that, although those taillights do look a little bit slim, at least in my opinion. So I'm hoping that maybe they can kind of fit everything all in one there, because I know I'm not the only one that doesn't like the sort of split design going on there. Plus, the front end, in my opinion, just, again, we haven't seen the whole front end, but all we can see is the headlight, which the headlight alone kind of tells me enough that it's really just kind of going to carry over the split headlight design, which isn't the worst. It's more of an issue for me in the back, but the front just, I don't know. And the fact that it kind of connects on the side, it just kind of looks a little bit weird to me. I'd rather they just go, full send like they do with the Equinox EV and the Blazer EV, with just, fully, clearly, distinctly split designs. But having it kind of connect just doesn't really flow well for me visually. It just kind of makes it look like a more tall vehicle. That's one of the things that I don't like about the Bolt itself. It just looks like a tall hatchback. And I would prefer something that is more of a sleeker looking hatchback. At least that's, in my opinion, for how a economy, EV should look like. But anyways, enough about my opinion on some of those things. Probably the worst thing, which is probably the reason why you're here, why you clicked on this video, is the NACS. So the the North American charging standard is great. It is a beautiful plug. It is a great standard to have, especially for your AC and your DC charging. I'm looking at you, new generation Nissan Leaf, having it split. It's just very weird, that whole setup there. But it is great having the NACS port there. The worst thing about the new Bolt, at least with the information that we have available to us right now, is the location of it. Why is the NACS port over by the driver's side? Yes, that's where the previous charging port was on the Bolt and the Volt as well. And I believe on the Equinox and Blazer EV, if I remember correctly, I think those are on that same little section there as well. So I can see why Chevy would initially want to put the new charging port in the same spot, because it's sort of their thing. It's what they've been doing since the Volt was their first, EV foray into the mass market electrification there. And the problem that I have, though, is putting the NACS port on the driver's side. Imagine you're going up to a Tesla Supercharger, for example. You're literally on the wrong side. So now you're going to have to take up 2 spots to be able to park in one stall, and then have to use the cable from another stall. So hopefully you're not going to be going to a congested supercharger if you are, trying to charge quickly and, that sort of thing. It's a place that shouldn't be, honestly, with them knowingly building this new EV to have the native NACS port in there. From the ground up, it is built with NACS in mind. Why not start to shift your production and your design for it to be over on the passenger side? That is the best possible spot so that anyone can just drive up to either a Tesla Supercharger or other NACS compatible charging stations, be able to just park, straight head on into the stall and be able to start charging. Now there is a bunch of gymnastics that you have to do to be able to charge in the front, at least with the new Bolt having that NACS port right by the driver's side. But let me know what you think about the new Chevy Bolt. I am hopeful that it will be a good economy EV, because we do need something that is affordable. And I know that Tesla is working supposedly on an affordable model, and more information will be coming out on that soon. Hopefully it's been spied and testing and everything like that. But it's probably not going to be as affordable as we would actually need it to be. And so what I would love to see is the Chevy Bolt and the new Nissan Leaf as well be something maybe sub $30,000 brand new. I think that would be great, at least as their base price, to at least start under $30,000. Heck, if it's $29,000 or less, that would be fantastic. But probably what's going to end up happening is it's going to start at $30,000. That's going to be sort of their new, floor to be able to call it an affordable EV. And it's just going to be kind of a shame. We'll probably see Equinox EV then go up in price so that it's not quite competing with the Equinox EV. It's just a frustrating scene. I'm hopeful that that doesn't happen, but you never know with cars nowadays. So let me know what you think about the new Chevy Bolt down below, and I'll catch you in this next video right here. Peace.